welcome back, and something a bit different once again, as you can tell. Those of you who've been following the channel will probably know that in one of my recent videos I did a test of this lav mic that I'm wearing out and about in the open, and I wanted to know if it could handle the extra noise from this frankly ridiculous little sports car. But yeah, so we're going to go find out. We are off today into the beautiful scenic Derbyshire to just find some nice driving roads and maybe review a beer or two. Obviously driving and drinking beer, not necessarily things that go hand in hand, but all will become clear in a bit. So yeah, that's part of the plan. So yeah, just join us. We're going on a scenic drive. We're right on the border now, about to cross over into Derbyshire in a couple of miles time. And I just saw my mate. I don't know if you saw the little wave there. So that was my mate in his Integra, Japanese import car. I've completely got distracted. So yeah, we're going to go and do a few nice little country roads, and then we'll pick this back up once we're properly, well, in the Peak District, I guess. So yeah, catch you in a moment. So, while we are making our way through a few sleepy ex-mining towns on the outskirts of Derbyshire, I thought I'd tell you a bit more about this car. I have featured it before on the channel. I've talked about it a lot, kind of in reference, but not really gone into that much detail. So, this is a 2016 Abarth 124 Spider, which is just a Fiat 124 Spider made a little bit fruity by the Abarth tuning company, which in itself is actually a Mazda MX-5, but with an Italian drivetrain and a few other bits. But basically everything you see in the cockpit, other than the badge, it's an MX-5. So anyway, boring kind of technical details over with. What's it got under it? Well, it's got a dinky, and I do mean dinky, 1.4 litre Fiat petrol engine, with a turbo the size of your head. Stock, these put out about 170 brake horsepower in the Abarth version, but this one is a little bit fettled. It's got an aftermarket true cold air induction kit on it. It's got an uprated turbo diverter valve, and it's been mapped to around 200 brake horsepower depending on the weather. So it's fruity. Now you'll probably notice if I drop a gear and just floor it, that doesn't sound like a 1.4 petrol engine. And yeah, I don't know, it's a bit of magic. Now you're thinking you've definitely got a stupid aftermarket exhaust on that, Tom. You would be wrong. This comes from factory. What's even more impressive about it is that they managed to get it to pass any legislation whatsoever. It's basically, it's got 4 outlets. There's 4 exhaust holes, 2 on each side, and 1 on each side goes through a traditional back box, which makes it quieter and everything else. The other 2 don't. They are effectively straight piped from the cat backwards, which I'm fairly sure isn't allowed, but anyway, that's how they sell it, so I'm allowed to buy it, which is, yeah, just one of those things. Do excuse me while we navigate. That is pretty much everything you need to know about the car, but that exhaust style was something traditionally found in kind of Ferraris of the 70s and 80s, that 2 through the back box, 2 out the back. Now I'm not saying this is a Ferrari exhaust, far from it, but Fiat, well, they do own both, so interesting. Anyway, yeah, that's what you need to know, and we are now about to get into the real interesting bit of Derbyshire, the Peak District. So we're kind of on the edge of the Peak District now, but the traffic is horrendous everywhere. Came out for a nice drive, and what I've ended up doing is, to be honest, I'd rather have driven through town. It would have been less busy. So we're going on a slightly... different route. We're heading towards Belper, and then we'll go somewhere, I don't know where. So yeah, we're going to head into Belper and then just, I don't know, see what we can find. So just had a nice little drive through some country roads I've never been to before, and we are now faced with the typical dilemma of owning a convertible in the UK in summer, and that it is now actually raining slightly. If you keep above speed, you don't actually get wet, but you know, it's just one of those things you have to deal with. If it gets any worse, we will pull over and put the roof up, but for now, let's just enjoy this road. Right, we have arrived at, I've got no idea where, to be honest. I might ping it on a map for you. But we are, yeah, surrounded by lovely views in a lay-by with a beer, which is a bit of a strange sentence if we're honest. But as you can probably tell by the thumbnail of this video, the beer that I'm going to be reviewing today is from Beavertown. It's called Lazer Crush, and if I show you, it is an alcohol-free IPA. Now, hence the reason without doing it with the car, because, well, you can, there's no booze in it, or at least that's what they'd have you believe, but actually on the back it says it's 0.3%, so it's very low, but not entirely free, so, but still fine, of course, to enjoy whilst on a nice summer's drive as this. So yeah, alcohol-free IPA. I mean, I guess we can't argue the IPA point versus pale, given there's no booze in it anyway. This is thankfully still cold, because we chucked it in a cool box in the boot. It says, drink fresh, store cool and upright. I don't know why you'd need to store it upright, because there shouldn't be a lot of yeast in this. And the bad news is actually I haven't been storing this upright, so we'll see what happens. But I'm not going to pour it out anyway, I'm in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, another quick look at the can for you, and then we will crack this open. Not too lively on the open there. It's difficult to get aromas in a breezy environment, but I'll be honest, it does smell like beer. It's very grapefruit heavy, quite sweet, tropical, and honestly, it actually smells pretty appealing, quite good. I'll be honest, Beavertown, not my favourite brewery. I'm not keen on their regular pales and IPAs, so I'm not sure how I'm going to get on with this, but let's give it a go. Cheers. That, I'm surprised, to be honest. That is actually not bad at all. And does it taste like an IPA? In some ways. It's a bit grapefruity, a bit lemony, a bit tropical fruit-esque. But what it really reminds me of is actually some quite high-end soft drinks, like a fancy San Pellegrino or something like that. It's got not a lot of body to it. But that said, it's quite foaming, quite frothy, and that bit gives it a bit more of a luxurious feel. While it's not thick, it does have a silkiness to it, so it definitely feels a bit more luxe than, say, drinking a can of Coke. Would I recommend this? You know what? If you want to come for a drive out in a slightly silly car, enjoy some beautiful views, and have a beer without the concerns of then getting said car home safely, to be honest, I think it's a winner actually. I'm genuinely enjoying it. Is there any more info on here? So ingredients are water, malted barley, hops, yeast, as you would expect. There are 25 calories per 100 ml, so the whole thing's about 80 calories, which is lower than beer, but it's not what you'd consider low, but then again, it is tasty. Yeah, cool can artwork. There's not a lot else. 0.1 UK units, that's all. Right, cheers. And with that, we're on the way home. I had a lovely day out, to be honest. I got to see some countryside, enjoyed this sports car, have a beer. I feel like I've done something with my Saturday, and relatively cheaply. Now, if the fuel prices were reasonable, it was very cheap. As it stands, probably can't really do this every weekend, but you know, it's just a nice thing to be able to do. One beer, alcohol-free beer, doesn't cost a lot, so it's just a way to get out there if you're not, I guess, maybe that interested in walking any distance or exerting yourself very much, which I can appreciate. So yeah, it was just a nice trip out. That beer really surprised me, to be honest. I've had quite a few alcohol-free beers now, and let's be honest, most of them are terrible. The Erdinger one was previously the kind of best in class that I'd tried. I haven't had the Guinness one yet, which I know is a lot of people reckon is pretty good. But yeah, that Beavertown one, I have to say, it just had a nice, sweet, fruity thing going on that just made it. Yes, it was IPA-ish. It was bitter enough. Mrs. Grummybeard tried it. She hates beer and did inform me that it did taste like beer. So that's always a litmus test. But it's not proper beer, of course it's not. But tell you what, as a refreshing quasi-beer experience, it was pretty good, to be honest. So yeah, now I'm just going to start driving back, enjoy the frankly ridiculous engine note of this car, and yeah, catch you soon. Cheers.